Guys, welcome back to Noise Code's Archive. I have finished the Callisto Protocol, and I'm going to continue to upload my playthrough of it, slowly but surely, for those of you who like watching that sort of thing. And I'm here to give you my unpopular opinion on it. And I say unpopular because a lot of people out there, you know, they're lucky enough to have bigger channels where they get review code. I did not get review code, but I finished it. And a lot of people are ripping the game apart. My unpopular opinion, though, is that I actually liked the Callisto Protocol. Now, don't get me wrong, there are things that I really, really dislike about it, and probably one thing that I actually hate about it. But let's break it down. What did I dislike about it? Well, first of all, the difficulty. As some of you may have seen out there on other review channels, the difficulty in this game spikes. It can go from hair-pullingly annoying to eye-gougingly impossible in about 3 seconds. I had to do something that I never do with video games. Usually when I play a game, I set it on the medium difficulty to get the, average experience. That, and I don't like to play a game that's too easy. I don't want to play a game that's impossible. I'm not a big Dark Souls fan or Soulborne fan, although you people would probably have a field day with this game. But I'd say about during the first couple hours, as you can see in my playthrough, I had to actually set the difficulty back to the easiest difficulty. I don't have a lot of time to just get good at something, so it is the you couple that with the fact that the combat is attempting to be clever. The game designers and developers were trying to be clever with the combat, and it's interesting what they were trying to do, but I don't think it landed, not with me anyways. It's got a kind of a weird dodge mechanic and counterattack thing. I commend them for the effort to do something original, but I just don't think it worked for me. So there's that. The enemies are pretty cool looking, but there really isn't that many of them. They're just kind of variations on the whole space zombie thing. I think Dead Space had a better variety of enemies in them. And then there was a review embargo on this game too, which I found out actually just the other day. Review embargoes, let's be clear about one thing, are fucking bullshit. They're bullshit. Game companies do that when their work cannot stand on its own. There's no reason to basically tell, you give out review code and then you say, no, don't. Basically, review embargo, for those of you who don't know, it says that you can't basically publish your review until the embargo gets lifted. In this case, I think it was release date, if I'm not mistaken. And that's bullshit. You're basically saying, nope, don't say anything until the game's already out and people have spent their money. So I think they kind of know when that happens, if that's a bad sign. So, I can kind of see why, because it seems that everybody's complaints are kind of centered around the combat. But anyways, there's that. And DLC. I really hate what they did with the DLC, and I walked into it kind of knowing that they might do something like this. I didn't exactly research it well enough, but they did the whole season pass thing. I read that they were going to have some unique death animations as a permadeath mode, which there's no way I would ever play this game on permadeath, not even on the lowest difficulty setting. But there's a lot of things that they left out, and it reminds me of the Mass Effect 3 DLC debacle, which is kind of, I think, what the starting point of this practice was, where gaming companies, they either don't finish the game on time, or they haven't finished testing it, or they cut a piece of the game out and they want to sell it to you after the fact. I hate that. I hate it more than anything. Total Biscuit, may he rest in peace. He did a piece on this a very long time ago, and I think it still holds true to this day. If you haven't finished the game, don't fucking release it. So with all that negative shit out of the way, what did I actually like about it? Well, I actually liked quite a bit about it. The graphics, for starters, are absolutely beautiful. The characters actually look like the actors. Josh Duhamel actually looks like Jacob Lee. Karen Fukuhara's in it too. And Sam Witwer. It's remarkable. It's so good. You can even see like little trickles of sweat on the character's face. He actually looks around, looks behind his shoulder all the time. Very, very cool. The sound design is off the chain as well. I mean, the sound of, in one of the death animations, the sound of your eyes being pushed into your skull, it almost sounds like it's grotesque as hell. The gurgling that some mutated enemies make, as well as like distant screams you'll hear. I mean, the sound design's just, it's so good. The environment on the same token, richly detailed. I mean, it looks lived in, it looks abandoned, it looks foreboding. It was a real treat to just kind of move through these environments. And the story, I thought the story was decent. It's not original. It's not something you haven't seen before. It's a bit predictable. But, I mean, you know, you kind of play things, you know, knowing that the story's predictable. It's the space trucker thing. You know, we've seen it in Aliens and that sort of thing before. So, with all that said and done, I actually kind of like it. Would I ever play it again? Maybe. It's a big maybe. I mean, even on the lowest difficulty setting, it's really hard and frustrating in some parts. I don't know, that DLC that they released, supposedly, I guess there's a story DLC too. I might be mistaken on that, but they'd have to really release something really interesting for me to jump back into it. And they definitely need to tweak that combat. So should you buy it? Well, that's the question. If you're a Dead Space fan, if you love survival horror, or you're into the Soulborne games, I would say you should pick it up. If you're not into those sort of things, I would not pay full price for it. I'd wait till it goes on sale. I don't think you should avoid it altogether. It's not a bad game. The only question is whether or not you want to pay full price for it. And that's a question only you can answer. At any rate, my name has been Noise Code, and if you want to buy the game, I'd say go for it, give it a try, and check it out. But I'll see you next time.